The pain of absence has a unique weight, doesn't it? I know that emptiness that seems to take up all the space when you lose someone you love. That feeling of waking up in the morning and, for a brief moment, forgetting that the person is no longer here, only to remember again and feel your heart squeeze. It's as if the world kept spinning while yours stopped the moment you said goodbye. And sometimes this pain seems so intense that you wonder how you'll be able to breathe the next minute. Have you ever noticed how certain places, music, or even smells can suddenly bring that person back? You're walking quietly down the street and you smell the perfume they wore, or hear a similar laugh, and your heart leaps. For a second, you almost believe you're going to turn the corner and find them there. These moments are so sweet and painful at the same time. It's as if the world is full of little ghosts of what was, reminding you at every step of what is no longer. Birthdays, holidays, and special dates become days of remembrance, don't they? That empty seat at the table that no one mentions, but everyone notices. Or the present you still mentally buy before remembering that there's no one left to give it to. These are the moments when absence screams the loudest. It's when you smile at others while inside you wonder how you'll get through this day. And perhaps the hardest part is seeing the world go on as if nothing had changed, when for you, everything has changed. Nights can be especially challenging when the house is silent. It's in that space between the day and the dream that imaginary conversations take place. You find yourself telling the news to those who are no longer here, sharing secrets or asking for advice. Sometimes you can even imagine what the person would say, as if a part of them were still alive inside you. It's a silent dialogue that no one else hears, but which somehow maintains a thread of connection. There's that guilt too, isn't there? That what if that keeps going round and round in your mind. What if I had realized sooner? What if we'd had more time? What if I had said everything that needed to be said? These are unanswered questions that can consume your days. Along with them comes that regret for the petty quarrels, the wasted moments, the unspoken words. As if we could somehow go back and do things differently, knowing what we know now. Have you ever noticed how her personal belongings take on an almost sacred value? That old t-shirt you can't give away, the book with notes in the margins, the favorite cup that no one uses anymore. Each item carries a story, a piece of the person who has gone. Maybe you've created a small altar of memories, or maybe you can't even look at these things yet. Both paths are part of the same journey of love that continues even after departure. Longing has many faces during the day. Sometimes it's a smile as you remember a joke that only you understood. Other times, it's a tear that comes out of nowhere while you're doing the dishes. There are times when you feel angry that the person has gone, and then guilt for having felt angry. It's a dance of contradictory emotions that can change in a matter of minutes. And all of this is completely normal, even if sometimes you feel yourself losing control. The people around you try to help, but they don't always know how. Some avoid mentioning the person's name, as if that would hurt you more. Others repeat hackneyed phrases about time and healing that seem empty when the pain is so fresh. It's hard to explain that you don't want to get over it, but learn to carry the absence. That forgetting is not an option and never will be. What you're looking for is a way of continuing to love the person who has gone while continuing to live. There are days when you surprise yourself by experiencing moments of genuine joy, and then you feel a twinge of guilt. How can I be happy when she's no longer here? It's almost as if happiness is a small betrayal. But deep down in your heart, you know that the person you've lost would never want your life to stop. Even so, allowing yourself to live fully can seem like an impossible step to take right now. Know that, in some way that goes beyond what we can fully understand, the bonds of love don't break completely. Sometimes, at the most unexpected moments, you can feel a gentle presence, like an invisible hug or a thought that comes out of nowhere with the clarity of her voice. It's not just memories, it's something deeper, as if love creates bridges between dimensions that the mind can't explain, but the heart recognizes. Grief doesn't follow a straight line, nor does it have a definite endpoint. It comes in waves that sometimes seem to drown you and other times allow you to float. You can wake up feeling stronger today, only to be knocked down by a memory tomorrow. It's a circular path where you revisit emotional places you thought you had overcome. And that's okay. There's no right way to miss someone you love. Every relationship is unique, and every goodbye will be too. Even on the darkest days, When absence seems heaviest, there is a silent truth underpinning everything. The love you shared is real and endures. Death may take the physical person, but it cannot erase what you have built together. Every laugh, every tear, every shared moment, it all lives on, not just as a memory, but as part of who you are now. The person you lost lives on through your way of seeing the world, the stories you tell, the values you carry. Do you know how nature teaches us about the cycles of life? Look at a tree throughout the seasons. In the fall, it sheds its leaves, seeming to lose part of itself. In winter, it remains naked and apparently lifeless in the face of the cold. But beneath that appearance of death, the sap continues to circulate, silently preparing for spring. What seems to be the end is only transformation. So it is with the people we love. They change form, but the essence of what we share continues to circulate in the universe in ways we can't always see. The stars have a lot to teach us about presence and absence. When we look up at the night sky, we see the light of stars that, in some cases, no longer exist. The distance between them and us is so great that their light continues to travel through space even after they have faded. It's a beautiful metaphor for those we've lost, don't you think? Their impact on our lives, the words they spoke to us, the love they gave us, continues to travel through time, illuminating our days long after they have gone. Have you ever observed how a river behaves when it encounters a stone? It doesn't stop or try to remove the obstacle, it simply finds a new way to keep flowing. Water adapts, goes around, moves on while embracing what it cannot change. Our life after a significant loss works in a similar way. We can't remove the reality of the absence, but we can learn to flow again, incorporating that stone into the new landscape of our river. The current continues, different but still beautiful. Think of how the healing of a deep wound works. At first, there is intense pain and bleeding. Then comes extreme sensitivity, where any touch causes discomfort. Over time, a scar forms which, although it never disappears completely, no longer hurts as it did before. Sometimes you even forget it's there until something touches it directly. The pain of loss follows a similar path. It doesn't disappear, but it becomes a mark that tells your story of love and resilience. When you cook a favorite dish that you learned from someone who has gone, you are doing more than preparing food. You are participating in a special kind of memory that involves all the senses. The smell that fills the kitchen, the familiar taste, the hand movements that repeat old gestures, all of this keeps a form of connection alive. It's as if, for a few moments, you're cooking together again. These everyday rituals carry a simple but powerful magic of continuity and presence. Photographs have an interesting power, don't they? They freeze a moment that will never come again, but at the same time, they allow it to continue to exist in some way. When we look at the smile of someone we love in an old photo, that specific moment revives in our consciousness. It's a kind of time portal that allows us to visit what once was. However, the most valuable memories are those that have not been captured by cameras. They are the moments kept only by you, like private treasures that no one else has. There is an ancient Japanese tradition called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken ceramics with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they are highlighted, transforming the piece into something even more valuable and beautiful because of its history. When we lose someone we love, we break ourselves in a way. The healing process doesn't erase these breaks, it transforms them into golden lines that tell our story. Your pain, over time, can be transformed into a unique beauty that others will recognize as strength and depth. Conversations around the dinner table change when someone important is no longer there. There is an empty space that no one can fill. But if you pay attention, you'll notice something significant happening. Stories about that person start to emerge naturally. Remember when she said, "She'd love to be here to see that. That reminds me of that time." This is how we keep people alive in our family circle, through the stories we tell, the memories we share, the values we pass on. Have you ever noticed how dreams sometimes present us with impossible encounters? In those moments of deep sleep, the barriers between worlds seem more tenuous. You may wake up with the vivid sensation of having talked to the person who left, of having felt their embrace or heard their laughter again. Some call this just dreaming, but there is something deeper going on when this presence visits us during rest. That space between sleep and wakefulness can be a garden where important encounters still take place. A planted seed continues the legacy of the plant that generated it. Similarly, the teachings, values, and love we receive from the departed continue to grow within us. You may be surprised to realize that you use expressions that were typical of her, or that you solve problems in the same way she would. Without realizing it, you have become the fertile soil where part of her continues to grow and flourish. The people we touch deeply live on through our actions, choices, and the way we love others. Think of the moon and the sun for a moment. They are never in the sky at the same time, but they are part of the same system, the same cosmic dance. The fact that we don't see the sun at night doesn't mean that it no longer exists, it's just illuminating another side of the world. There is ancient wisdom that suggests that death works in a similar way. The people we love don't cease to exist. They just move on to a plane that our physical eyes can't reach at the moment. Have you ever felt that moment of inexplicable connection? You're thinking intensely about someone who's gone and suddenly a butterfly lands near you, a meaningful song plays on the radio, or you find an object that seemed lost. Many would dismiss it as coincidence, but there is a deeper understanding that recognizes these moments as bridges between dimensions. They are like little messages that pierce the veil, reminding us that love does not know the limitations that our physical eyes see. When we cultivate a garden, we need to accept that not all the plants will bloom at the same time. Some sprout in spring, others in summer, some prefer fall. So it is with healing after a loss. Certain areas of your life will be able to flourish quickly, while others will remain dormant for longer. Don't force the natural process of the seasons on your soul. Each part of you has its own rhythm of healing, and that's perfectly fine. The important thing is to keep the garden watered with kindness, patience, and hope. Grief changes us in ways we could never have imagined. It's as if grief opens doors within us that we didn't even know existed. You may discover a strength you didn't know existed, a deeper understanding of the fragility of life, a more intense appreciation for the small moments. Many people report that, after a great loss, they have come to better filter what really matters. Small everyday irritations lose their power, while moments of genuine connection gain incalculable value. This is one of the gifts hidden within grief, the clarity that comes when the superfluous is eliminated. Creating small rituals can be a powerful way of transforming physical absence into a different but meaningful presence. It can be as simple as lighting a candle on special dates, preparing the person's favorite meal, or taking a moment during the day to talk mentally about what's going on in their life. One woman I know plants something new in the garden every anniversary of her husband's departure. Another visits their favorite spot once a year. These rituals create bridges between the visible and the invisible, offering comfort and continuity. Writing can be a transformative tool when we are processing a loss. It doesn't have to be a formal diary or something that others will read. It can be a letter to the person who has gone, expressing what you haven't had a chance to say. Or simply loose words that capture what you're feeling that day. The act of transferring emotions onto paper can help organize them within you. Some people find that, over time, the tone of their writing naturally changes, from intense grief to softer nostalgia, punctuated by moments of gratitude. Allow yourself to reinterpret past events in a new light. That argument that seemed so important at the time can now be seen with compassion. The difficult moments you face together may reveal a strength you hadn't noticed before. One person I accompanied through her grief told me something profound. I realized that I am free to remember the whole truth, not just the perfect version of it. There is a liberation in embracing the totality of who the person was, their complexities, contradictions, and humanity. This honest look makes the connection more authentic, not less. The body carries our pain just as much as the heart and mind. You may find that your energy is different, that your sleep has changed, or that certain foods no longer suit you. Listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Sometimes a quiet walk can do more for your healing process than hours of mental analysis. Conscious breathing, just watching the air go in and out of your lungs for a few minutes, can anchor you in the present when memories become overwhelming. Movement, fresh air, water, rest, these basic needs take on renewed importance during bereavement. People often fear that by moving on, they are being disloyal to the memory of the departed. But consider this, when you plant a tree in memory of someone, you want it to grow strong and bear fruit, not remain exactly as it was on the day you planted it. Your personal growth honors the love you shared. Each new day well lived, each moment of joy you allow yourself, each act of kindness towards others. All this is a way of keeping alive what was most precious in that relationship. There is an ancient and simple practice that can bring comfort: storytelling. Get together with people who also knew and loved the person who has gone. Share memories, even small and seemingly insignificant ones. Remember how she always sang in the shower? What about that time he tried to fix the car and only made it worse? These shared stories create a space where the person remains present. At the same time, you can discover new facets through the memories of others, expanding your understanding of who they were. Rediscover the power of gratitude, even on the darkest days. Start small. Be grateful for a hot cup of coffee, a phone call from a friend, a specific memory that made you smile today. Over time, you may surprise yourself by being grateful for the relationship itself, with all its joys and challenges. A woman who lost her daughter told me something transformative. I've reached the point where I can say thank you for having her instead of just feeling I'm sorry I lost her. This change of perspective doesn't diminish the pain, but it adds a layer of light to it. There is an interconnection between all things that we are only just beginning to understand. When you look at the stars, you are seeing the same matter that your body is made of. When you touch a tree, you are touching a being that breathes the same air as you. And when you love someone, you create a bond that transcends the common understanding of time and space. Physicists tell us about energy fields that remain connected even when apparently separated. Mystics from all traditions have been saying this for millennia. The love you've shared hasn't disappeared from the universe, it's just changed form. Allowing yourself to receive help is an essential part of the healing process. We often isolate ourselves, believing that no one can really understand our pain. Or we feel that we need to be strong for others. But vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage in its purest form. A support group, a therapist who understands grief, or even a friend who simply knows how to listen without trying to fix it, can make a huge difference. Remember that asking for help doesn't diminish your strength. It demonstrates your wisdom in recognizing that none of us was made to walk alone. Consider how you can turn your pain into something meaningful. Many of the world's most impactful organizations were born out of the personal loss of their founders. It doesn't have to be something grand. It could be planting a tree, doing volunteer work, or simply reaching out to someone else who is suffering. A mother who lost her son to cancer started knitting caps for children undergoing treatment. A widower created a small memorial in the local park. These actions don't fill the void, but create meaning out of it, turning pain into active compassion. Recognize that growth after loss is not linear. There will be days of clarity and strength, followed by days where the pain feels as fresh as it did at the beginning. This doesn't mean you've failed or gone backwards, it's just the nature of the journey. Imagine climbing a mountain in a spiral. Sometimes you seem to be returning to the same point, but you're actually at a different altitude, seeing the landscape from a new perspective. Each turn of the spiral brings a deeper understanding, a fuller integration of the loss into your life story. The path isn't straight up and down, it's circular, spiral, seasonal. There is a special quality of wisdom that is only born through a profound encounter with loss. The Japanese call it wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete things. It is an embodied knowledge that cannot be explained, only experienced. When you emerge from the most intense phase of mourning, you may notice an increased sensitivity, an ability to be present with the suffering of others without trying to fix it, an intuitive understanding of what really matters. You become a kind of beacon for those who are just beginning this journey, not because you have all the answers, but because you have learned to navigate in the dark. Now, let's think about small practical steps you can take, even on the most difficult days. Start by creating a 5-minute space each morning to acknowledge your feelings without judgment. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and simply observe what is present in you today. Is it longing? Anger? Confusion? Gratitude? Just name what you find, without trying to change anything. This simple awareness ritual can help prevent emotions from building up until they become overwhelming. Over time, you may discover patterns and triggers that you hadn't noticed before. The personal belongings of the departed often become a source of deep connection, but they can also awaken intense pain. There is no rule about when it is the right time to organize these possessions. Some people find comfort in doing so right away, while others need to wait months or years. One approach that many find useful is to separate items into three categories: those that you want to keep close to you, those that can be kept to revisit later, and those that can be donated to benefit others. One small step at a time, respecting your pace and your emotional limits. Create a gratitude journal specifically related to the person you have lost. Each day, write down a memory, a personality trait, or a teaching for which you feel grateful. It could be something profound like a value they taught you, or something simple like the way they laughed. This practice helps to gradually shift the focus from the absence to the presence that this person still has in your life, even if in a different way. A woman who lost her father told me that after a year of this exercise, she realized how many positive aspects of his personality were now part of herself. Isolation can intensify the pain of loss. Even when it seems impossible, try to maintain a minimal connection with other people. This can be as simple as sending a message to a friend saying, "I'm having a hard day today," or accepting that invitation for a quick coffee, even if you don't feel quite ready to socialize. If conversations become too much, suggest a side-by-side activity, a short walk, watching a movie, or preparing a meal together. The presence of others, even in silence, can be a balm for the lonely heart. Reconnect with your body through gentle movements that honor what you're feeling. There's no need to force yourself to do intense exercise when your heart is heavy. A slow walk outdoors, some gentle stretching, or even dancing alone at home to a song you both loved can help release emotions trapped in the body. One woman who lost her sister started swimming regularly, feeling that the water helped her carry the weight of her grief. Another man found comfort in gardening, feeling connected to his wife as he cultivated the garden she had started. Allow yourself to create new rituals that honor both the memory and its ongoing life. For example, you could set aside a specific moment each week to fully feel the longing, perhaps by lighting a candle, listening to special music, or visiting a meaningful place. By having this dedicated time, you may find that it becomes easier to be present for the rest of the week. Over time, these rituals can naturally evolve from moments of intense pain into sacred encounters with the essence of the loved one. They become bridges between worlds, rather than anchors that hold you to the pain. Rediscover the power of touch in your healing process. Grief often leaves us physically hungry for contact, especially if we have lost someone with whom we shared physical intimacy. Consider receiving therapeutic massages, hugging close friends, stroking a pet, or simply wrapping yourself in a soft blanket while sipping a hot cup of tea. A simple technique called the butterfly hug can be done alone. Cross your arms over your chest, with your hands on opposite shoulders, and pat each other gently while breathing deeply. This simple gesture activates both sides of the brain and can bring immediate comfort. Find creative ways to express what words can't capture. You don't have to be an artist to draw, paint, model clay, or create a collage that represents your journey. The value is in the process, not the result. A man who had never played an instrument started playing the guitar after the death of his daughter, discovering that certain melodies expressed what he couldn't say. A lady started sewing a quilt using scraps of her husband's clothes, creating something new and comforting from what he left behind. Creative expression offers a language when words fail. Nourish your body consciously, recognizing the connection between physical and emotional well-being. Grief can drastically affect our eating habits. Some lose their appetite completely, while others seek comfort in overeating. Try to establish small, simple eating routines. Prepare a nutritious meal once a day, even if it's something basic. Drink enough water. If cooking alone seems overwhelming, accept the help of friends who offer to bring meals, or simplify with healthy options that require little preparation. Remember that nourishing your body is a form of kindness to yourself at a time when everything can seem difficult. Take moments to contemplate how the departed would like to see you living your life now. Not as a pressure to move on, but as a loving dialogue about the values and hopes they had for you. What qualities did she admire most in you? What kind of experiences would she want you to continue having? If I could give you one piece of advice today, what would it be? Many people find that by honestly reflecting on these questions, they feel guided and supported in their choices, rather than paralyzed by doubt. It's a way of keeping alive the best of the wisdom you've shared. Learn to recognize and honor the wave moments, those moments when pain comes unexpectedly and forcefully. It could be hearing a song in the supermarket, finding a forgotten photo, or passing a special place. When this happens, try not to resist. Stop for a moment if you can, breathe deeply, and say to yourself, "This is my longing expressing the great love we share." If you're in public and need to pull yourself together quickly, have an anchor phrase ready, such as "I'm safe, I can feel this later." Then, when you have privacy, allow yourself to fully experience what has been postponed. Resisting the waves only increases your strength. Consider joining a support group, where people on similar journeys share their experiences. There is a unique comfort in being among those who really understand, without the need for explanations. If there are no face-to-face groups in your area, there are reliable online communities dedicated to different types of loss. A woman who lost her son told me that she could only truly breathe when she was with other mothers who had gone through the same experience. It wasn't that the pain subsided, but that she didn't have to carry it alone during those hours. Sometimes just hearing that other people have survived what you're facing can bring a spark of hope. Recognize that there is a difference between maintaining a connection with the departed and being stuck in the past. A healthy connection allows you to carry love into new experiences, while being stuck prevents any movement. Ask yourself this question periodically: does this choice I'm making keep our love alive or just preserve my pain? The answers may surprise you and change over time. It is possible to fully honor the one who is gone while still allowing your own life to continue unfolding. In fact, this ability to carry love through new doors is one of the most profound ways to honor the relationship you shared. As you walk through this journey, you begin to realize something surprising. The person you lost is still part of your story. Not as a closed chapter, but as a presence that changes and evolves with you. The nature of this presence changes over time, becoming less painful and more nourishing. It's as if love, once concentrated in moments shared physically, now expands to embrace your whole life. This is one of the most profound truths we have discovered. Love doesn't end when physical presence ends. It finds new ways to express itself through you, your choices, your memories, and your values. The ancients knew something that our modern culture tends to forget. Death is not the opposite of life, but part of it. Just as expiration is as necessary as inspiration, departure is part of the same cycle as arrival. When we manage to understand this not just intellectually, but with our hearts, something changes inside us. We begin to recognize that those we love have not been erased from the universe, they have been transformed, and the love we share with them remains an active force in our lives. This understanding doesn't eliminate the pain of physical separation, but it adds a dimension of continuity and meaning to it. You may have noticed that, at certain times, you feel your loved ones so present that you could almost touch them. Perhaps it's when you're doing something you used to enjoy doing together, or when you visit a special place. Or maybe it happens at completely unexpected moments, washing dishes, driving to work, or watching the night sky. These aren't just tricks of the memory or imagination. They are moments of expanded consciousness where the veil between dimensions becomes thinner. The heart recognizes a truth that the logical mind has difficulty accepting. The bonds of love transcend the physical limits we know. You carry within you not only memories, but also the transformed essence of the person you loved. Think about the qualities you most admired in them, perhaps their patience, their humor, their courage in difficult times, or their ability to find beauty in simple things. Over time, you may notice how these same qualities have grown in you. It's no coincidence. It's a form of spiritual inheritance, as real as genes or material goods. When you express these qualities in your own life, you are allowing something essential about yourself to continue to flourish in the world. It's a form of continuity that no one can take away from you. There is an ancient wisdom that says, "Those who have died never leave us completely. They simply take a different place." Think of the older people you've known, those who have experienced a lot of loss and yet still kept a special light in their eyes. It's not because they haven't suffered deeply, but because they've learned an essential truth through that pain. Love is stronger than death. Not as a postcard phrase, but as a reality lived day after day. This understanding doesn't come easily or quickly. It is gained patiently, through tears, questioning and, eventually, an acceptance that transcends mere resignation. As you move forward on this journey, you begin to understand that honoring the departed doesn't mean remaining stuck in the pain of separation. On the contrary, it means allowing the love you shared to continue growing and expressing itself in new ways. When you laugh again with an open heart, when you allow yourself to live fully, when you reach out to help others who are suffering, in all these moments, something of your loved one's essence is present. It's not a betrayal to find joy again, it's a testament to the love that lives on in you. It's as if each moment of joy turns on a small light that can be seen beyond the veil that separates the worlds. Time doesn't heal all wounds, as they say, but it teaches us to live with them in ways we couldn't have imagined at the beginning. It's like learning to walk again after an injury. The movement will never be exactly the same, but we find new patterns, new rhythms. You start to discover days when the gratitude for having known and loved that person outweighs the pain of having lost them. Moments when you can genuinely smile when you remember a shared story. Moments when you realize that, somehow, they are still part of the conversation of your life, not as a painful absence, but as a transformed presence that accompanies you. Dreams can become a special meeting place. Many people report vivid dreams where they talk to the departed, receive advice, or simply enjoy the company again. These dreams have a different quality, a clarity and a sense of real presence that distinguishes them from ordinary dreams. Scientists can explain them as manifestations of the subconscious processing grief. But there is a more ancient wisdom that recognizes these moments as true encounters, facilitated by the state of sleep where our consciousness is not limited by the usual barriers. When these dreams visit you, receive them as gifts, temporary bridges between realities. I clearly see the silver thread that connects your heart to the heart of the one you love, regardless of the transformation we call death. This connection remains intact across dimensions that the physical eye cannot perceive, but that the heart knows intimately. When you feel that soft touch of certainty, that moment of deep knowing that you can't explain rationally, trust it. The bond between you continues to vibrate like the string of a musical instrument which, once played, continues to resonate even after the audible sound has faded. It's not imagination or wishful thinking, it's a recognition of the wider reality that sustains us all. The person you've lost wants you to know, above all, that love survives. Not just as a memory or a past feeling, but as an active and present force. They want you to understand that the separation they feel is temporary within a broader vision of time. That every act of kindness, every moment of beauty you experience, every time you talk about her with affection, creates a bridge between your worlds. That as long as you keep space for her in your heart, you will never truly be apart. Not as a comforting thought, but as a reality as concrete as the ground beneath your feet. As your journey continues, you will eventually realize that the intense pain has turned into something more akin to sweet regret. The open wound becomes a sensitive scar that tells an important story. You learn to carry this story not as a burden, but as a precious treasure that is part of who you are. And in the small pauses of the day, in the moments between one breath and the next, you feel a different kind of connection, softer, more constant. It's as if, after so much searching for dramatic signs of presence, you finally notice the continuous whisper that has always been there, patient, waiting for your ears to adjust to hearing it. Your capacity to love has not been diminished by the loss, it has been deepened, expanded. You now know the depths and heights of the human heart in a way that many will never understand. This hard-won wisdom is not only your cross to bear, but also your gift to share. When you meet others who are just beginning this journey, your conscious and understanding presence will be a light to them, just as others have been to you. This is how the circle of love continues, not just between you and the departed, but expanding to include everyone you touch with this deeper understanding. And finally, know that your own heart knows the way forward. In moments of confusion or doubt, be still and listen. The soft voice that emerges from silence carries a wisdom that transcends books and advice. Trust in the small joys that begin to return to your life. They are not distractions from your pain, but signs that you are learning to dance to the rhythm of life again. The person you love wants you to dance, wants to see you expand to include both pain and joy, physical absence and spiritual presence, longing and gratitude. This is the complete journey of love that continues beyond what our eyes can see, a love that death cannot touch, only transform.